should be.
From every strand on the line of your reel, to the rods, to the anglers, to the lures on the end of your hook, let's talk about those big bass here on Co-Angler's Corner with your hosts, Rob Welch and John Stoudinger.
Good evening, everybody. This is John.
Hi, how y'all are? Cajun Rob. Little different appearance tonight. I cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah, must be the birds in the woods are doing pretty good. So,
no, it's Easter and wife wants me to dress up, so I decided to do. And I got something important to do tomorrow, so it all kind of coincided, and the stars and the planets all lined up, so it's all good.
All right. So we have a good friend of Rob's on the line, and we'll since we're running a little late, we'll just throw him right into the whole mix of things. All right.
All right.
You want to tell us who it is?
Yeah, that's my good friend Robert Rock Holliday. Actually, me and him shared a cabin over in Del Hollow, and he had a great finish on Saturday. So I know he's going to talk about that a little bit. And been my friend for quite a few years. Definitely a rising star in the MLF, BFL. So let's bring him on and let him share some of his secrets from Saturday, because I definitely need them because I didn't do so good.
Now you got your pen and paper out, right, Rob?
I got my mind right here.
Oh, we're all in trouble here.
Poet Cumberland
Yeah,
with you.
yeah, I hear you, man. Hey, what's up, buddy?
What's up, buddy?
All right, man. Just keeping it real, man. See, I'm a little different tonight. A little different.
Just a little bit. I'm used to the whole full out beard from this past weekend at Del Hollow. I'm not used to the clean shave cut Rob.
Yeah, well, see, when you zero, you got to do something totally different off the wall. So that's what I did. So see, I got good luck coming to Cumberland. So
there you just hopefully it'll roll over.
Oh, it will, man. But man, glad to have you on, and I know I've been wanting to have you on for a while. If you want to, just kind of tell the folks how you got started fishing and what all. I know you're on BFLs, but kind of go through tournament circuits you fish, and just kind of give us a general brief of you, what you do, and where you come from.
So I've been fishing BFL since 2016. My first BFL was on Lake Oconee. Saw an ad in the paper they ran saying it was back when it was FLW before it switched to MLF in 2016.
Right.
Jumped in it as a co-angler. I cut a check, finished 16th, and it just went from there. I mean, once you cut a check in your first big FLW event, you just got that blood and you just want to keep going and going and going.
Yep.
And then finished out the rest of the season. I think I qualified for regionals on 4 events.
Wow.
Ended up fishing. I fished the Bulldog Savannah River. I fished one in the Gator division. Jackpotted a few here and there, but I fished the Bassmaster Open on Lake Hartwell back it was my 30th birthday.
Cool.
Did really well. Drew out 2 great guys. Finished right outside the check range for cut, but fishing the opens is pretty hard against them hammers. I mean, it's hard to catch fish behind them. But I ended up catching 2 on day 1 and then managed a small limit on day 3. But I kept consistently catching them on topwater in September at Hartwell.
Cool.
Fished a Toyota series, Gunnersville and Del Hollow. It's just been, my dad got me into fishing when I was 3, and then we team fished together, and it just progressed from there. And I wanted to do something different, and I've been fishing strong for BFLs since 2016. And, it's just been truly blessed. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think first time me and you actually met, I mean, we talked for a long time online, but I think I met you at the Bassmaster Classic in Knoxville. I think first time we actually, but it's pretty cool. That was a good event.
Yeah, that was a real fun event that day. Got to work the fish head spin booth. John's a great guy, and I was just truly blessed to meet a bunch of guys there and, interact with them, click with them, just to get my name out there a little bit, just to see how it comes out, in the future.
Absolutely. I went to FLW one time, South Carolina. I talked to Jimmy Houston for like 30 minutes because nobody was there yet. And that's what he said every time there's a Bassmaster Open, Expo, or whatever, go to it because people see you more and more, and they'll say, hey, who is that guy? So, absolutely, good point.
Oh, yeah.
But got a couple guys chimed in real quick. Your buddy Rusty Odom said, what's up?
What's up, buddy?
I just got to commend you on that hat. That's a sharp-looking hat.
Oh, my canine fishing hat. This is actually my newest sponsor I landed. I went to the Alabama Fishing Expo a couple weeks ago, and Rob knows, hey, I'm digging that pink hat. I like it. I may have to steal that one from you.
Come on.
I'll swap with you, John.
There you go.
But went to the Fishing Expo there and down in Gadsden, Alabama a couple weeks ago, and y'all know line is expensive, really expensive. And you know, I got my good buddy Ethan Wheeler who's on with them, and I just keep see canine fishing. I'm like, I got to see what this line's about. And I went up there, talked to him. He offered me a pro staff spot right then and there. Got my discount. You know, bought some line. Wouldn't trade that line. I mean, that line is really, really good. The braid's smooth casting. I bought a bunch of 8, 10, and 12 pound, 550 yard spool of low memory fluorocarbon. Definitely some stout line. And, you know, if anybody wants any, I got a discount and I can get 30% off. Y'all just hit me up. And it's definitely some good line to invest in for sure.
Cool.
AG's Backbone Bait says, what's up, buddy?
What's up, Anthony?
Bobby Young says, what's up, guys?
What's up, Bob?
And I mean, I'm up in New York, and I catch some decent sized smallmouth up here, and I'm using like 4 and 6 pound test.
No, I'd break that on a hook set.
Yeah.
No, actually, no. Not
really.
Not drop shot. Yep.
See, I feel scared when I hit 8. 8's like my happy medium. I can't go lower than 8.
Yep.
No,
I have done 4 pound tests before.
Oof.
On Cumberland.
They say lighter, you know, the smaller the line, the more bites you get, but I'm just not. As hard as I hook, you know, set the hook, eight's my lowest I'll go.
Yeah.
Oh, I hear you.
That's the key to that. It's setting the equipment proper.
Oh, yeah.
Very true.
Yep,
you gotta have that drag set for sure.
You can't have that drag all the way tightened down and try to use 6 pound tests.
No.
Not long.
You're not going to be a happy guy losing all that tungsten. But yeah, Rob said you tried to teach him how to fish this past weekend.
No, he schooled me. He schooled me, man. He schooled me.
I tried to tell the boy how to fish this weekend. He just wouldn't listen.
Well, it's funny. I was in the fishing. Me and my boater was in the same area all day, and by the time I hear, "Hey, there's Rob Welch," I'm like, "There he is."
You turn around, and I'm in shorts and boots.
Yeah, shorts and boots. I'm over here in 100 foot of water going, just like I'm in 100 foot of water trying to throw an A-rig, throw my arm out. But anyway, it is what it is.
I didn't throw that bait much this weekend.
That's all I threw, and this didn't. I didn't put it on her nose, I guess. But it was crazy.
Which is hard behind scopers when you're like that, and you know. I was at it with Smith Lake back in, 2022, I think it was at regionals at Smith.
Yep.
And I drew a great guy that was scoping and, scoping in 124 foot of water. Day 2, I felt confident where, I talked to Emil Wagner. I said, hey, what do you think about this bait? He said, dude, it's worth a shot. So I tied on a 3/4 ounce jigging spoon, War Eagle jigging spoon, and there's no paint left on it.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's just all who you draw and if he gives you that right shot.
Yeah, just got to grind it out, keep your lure wet. That's all I knew how to do.
Yeah,
I get close to shore, throw my jig out. Yeah, I threw my jig out when I got close to shore. But of course, he said, well, we're going to hit some shallow stuff on the way back, and then we broke down.
Man, I hate that for you too, man. I mean, I've been in that predicament multiple times at Lanier where majority of it's been in the wintertime. Where a guy don't run his batteries or cranks his big motor up. He just sits there and scopes. and that drains a battery big time in the wintertime. And I've had one incident on Oconee a couple years ago where we stayed in one spot. We just beat the bank back and forth all day for 8 hours, caught fish. They just kept pushing in, moving up. And it got about that time, and we went to crank and nothing. We were at the mouth of Richland, which is probably, I don't know, maybe a 15-ish minute run if you're running wide open. And I called my buddy Jay Stryker. I'm like, look, and I knew he was on some fish to possibly win this thing. I said, look, I'm at the mouth of Richland stuck. I said, can you come get me? So he came and got me. He told me, get in, shut up, don't say a word. And he had probably, I think, right at 19 pounds that tournament, 18 and some change that event. I'm like, man, I just cost you about an hour worth of fishing just to get me in. And that's what a brother is. I mean, that's the fishing industry right there. If you can find the right person, I mean, they're willing to help you out for sure.
Absolutely.
Jan Holman says, Robert, your boat angel family's watching.
Oh man, don't start that. Man, that's a touchy subject. That's one that's gonna get me right there.
Yeah.
Hook set with a left-handed reel was comical though.
So Anthony custom makes baits. He custom paints crankbaits and pours soft plastics. And the first time I met Anthony was at a benefit tournament at Lake Oconee at Sugar Creek. Told him I'd come up and check some of his stuff out, and he didn't know Oconee that well. And I was like, look, I got my tackle bag in my truck. Didn't have no rods in my truck, just my bag, which stays in my truck 24/7.
Right.
So I jumped in the boat with him. First time meeting the guy. He's like, you're driving. I'm like, oh boy. So he asked me, he goes, you right-handed, left-handed? I said, I'm right-handed. He said, I'm left-handed. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be interesting here. So you know how hard it is to set the hook left-handed on a Carolina rig?
Oh, yeah.
I can cast perfect, but when I get bit, I have to switch the rod to the right hand and snatch. And I'm like, man, I look so goofy doing this. But I did catch fish on a left-handed reel.
I'll bet he was cracking up.
In 2014, 15, I can't remember. I was New York State co-angler of the year. My last tournament was we were throwing the A rig, and I'd never thrown it before. My boater's left-handed. He's like, "Here, throw this." I look at it. I'm like,
flip it upside down.
Yeah, it's on the wrong side.
Try reeling the A rig opposite-handed.
No,
man, I can't do that.
No,
and
not for me.
And I ended up doing well enough in that tournament, but I was like, I was done. But Jan says you should listen to Rob.
No, I should have listened. Yeah, that's true. I was being a little hard-headed.
Well, old men don't listen much.
Nah. And the older we get, the less we listen, or maybe we can't hear. I think
or it just goes through one ear and out the other.
I think so.
Now that he got his hair out of the ears, it might.
I can hear now. I can hear.
I know. I still got mine. I haven't. I think at the end of the year, I think I'm gonna cut it off. I've had it for 3 years, so I think I'm gonna end the mullet streak this year unless something magical happens.
There you go.
Rick and
Nothing wrong with that.
Saying hello, everybody.
Hey, how's it going, Rick? Rick's a guy now. Rick's always on here.
Yep. So what's one of your favorite techniques to use?
So this past weekend, well, we'll start. In general, it just depends on the time of year. I mean, shaky head's a man's best friend, and I've caught many a fish on shaky head. John's like, no. But really, I mean, shaky head, top water, I started to build my confidence with a drop shot at Lake Lanier and Hartwell. Frogging season down here is real big for me. I love catching them on a frog. That's why I'm hoping I can squeak in the regionals at Pickwick in October, because I feel like I can catch them on a frog at Pickwick in October. Fished a wild card there last November, and I think it was in the first weekend of November. We had 3 days in the 80s, and I caught them pretty good on a frog for 3 days of practice. And then, of course, you can never have a perfect day of tournament fishing. Rob knows that. Mm-hmm. So and then it just blew wind and rain, and you can't fish frogs and white cat rollers with matted grass. It don't happen. But really, shaky head frog, some spinner baits depending on if there's shad spawn, and Carolina's real big down here. Carolina rig is my go-to. It's just like a shaky head. I mean, I can catch them either way, but I've won money on both, and those two are really my big confidence baits for sure.
You like the Carolina rig because you can like set the hook and just cross her eyes. I know you and your hook set.
Boy, I tell you, if I had a GoPro running on that big one at Del Hollow Saturday, you would die. I rocked the back of that Phoenix when I stuck him Saturday.
I'm trying to figure out why Rob didn't throw Carolina rig.
I was at 100 foot of water. No, I was at 100 foot of water. I was at 100 foot of water. I couldn't.
Rob, they bite 90. I caught a fish in 94 feet of water up here.
I think deepest ever caught was like 25, so I was way out of my element. But he was catching was shallow, so that kind of threw me off. So it is what it is.
Hey, I'll teach him something at Cumberland.
There you go. Now Cumberland, you're my woods now. Come on now.
That is very, very true. I haven't been on Cumberland since we moved back in. God, it's probably been 2010 maybe. I haven't been on Cumberland, so Rob's probably gonna have the upper hand on me. But as long as I can catch some fish and weigh in and not zero at Cumberland to solidify some points, I'll be happy. That's all I'm wanting. I just need some points. That's it.
I finished 14th and one side pot there last year. Just heads up.
I may have to put in for side pot for that one.
Yeah, I would.
I feel like I could probably catch them halfway decent because April you can catch them just about any way you want. So, we'll see. I don't know.
You catch them everywhere about that time of year. There's a few creeks that really shines, but I can give you a couple pointers, a couple of things to try. So it's all good.
Well, that will help me out gratefully.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we saw that this past weekend. That'll really help you out.
No, I can tell you what not to throw. That's what I was good at this weekend.
Did you throw the mag draft?
Nope, did not throw the mag draft.
You should have.
But you did. That's what throws.
Funny story about that. I didn't throw a mag draft. I left the mag draft in the truck.
Oh.
So my boater went along with it. And that's when I turned to him, and he's like, yeah, he lost a giant on a mag draft. I'm like, he's going to believe me, and I'm going to have to break his heart when I tell him this on the podcast. But no, I did not. That big one I caught Saturday at Dale, I really wish I had the mag draft with me because it set up the perfect area we were at where a big one would eat a mag draft. But I was like, man, I don't want to take a picture of it with his mouth and send it to Rob because he'll have one tied on.
Yeah, but tell John about the big one. What you caught and what you had to do with it.
Oh man, you're gonna make me tell this story again.
Yeah, I got to.
This story still makes me sick to this. I mean, even though it's only a few days since Del Hollow Saturday, but I'm still sick to my stomach over this fish. So previous to Del Hollow, my biggest smallmouth was probably 3.5, and it was 18 inches long. Never caught anything bigger than that. And going into Del Hollow, practice Friday, I felt confident that I could catch some, but I wasn't expecting the weight I had Saturday. Because I think I had 3 keepers on Friday, and I had a 17.5-inch smallmouth I had to throw back that absolutely crushed an A-rig.
Yep.
So we practiced Friday up shallow, and my boater that I linked with, Charlie Crisp Jr., great guy, awesome guy to fish with and practice with. He led me on a Carolina rig bite.
Yep.
If it wasn't for him showing me that Carolina rig bite this time of year at Del Hollow, I probably would have zeroed because I would have had a shaky head in my hand all day. So I drew out my boater on, Saturday morning. Kevin Snyder, great guy from Athens. I think he's from Athens, Tennessee. Called him up. I said, "We gonna be scoping or shallow?" He said, "We're gonna be shallow." I said, "What are we gonna be targeting?" He said, pea gravel flats, rocky flats that kind of has some grass around it to rip the Carolina rig through. I said, this is it. I said, if this is a tournament for me, I said, this is how it's going to set up on Saturday. Pulled up to the first spot off of Main Lake. It was just a big shallow bar with some grass. Fish were sitting deep in that grass, and they just would not come out of that grass that early in the morning. So we backed off, went up against the bank. It was so windy, he spot locked us, and he was throwing over my right shoulder, which completely fine with. I didn't say a word. I'm cool with it. He's the boater. He can do whatever he wants.
Oh, yeah.
And I threw my Carolina rig up on the bank. I got bit, set the hook. It was a 14.5-inch smallmouth. Threw him in the live well.
Yep.
So we end up making our move to our second spot down by the dam, make the bend, and we got the dam in sight, and he shuts her down. And it's a long, gravel, rocky flat. And I'm like, this is it.
Oh, yeah.
I probably made about 8 or 9 casts up on that flat, drug my Carolina rig, didn't get bit. I made the next cast, and my line just went thump. I'm like, uh-oh. Reeled down. He was swimming with it, and I stuck him. It felt like I stuck a cinder block.
Yep.
I said, get the net. It's a giant. This fish was so big, he couldn't even come out of the water. All I saw was mouth. I couldn't tell if it was smallmouth, largemouth, or what. But he saw it. He said, it's a giant smallmouth. I'm like, stayed calm, kept my composure. And as soon as he netted that fish, I let out the biggest Ike scream. I'm like, this is it. I said, it's fixing to go down.
Yep.
And he's like, it's going to be short. I'm like, dude, don't say this.
Oh.
I said, no, you don't say that. So I got the golden rule out of his Phoenix, put it on the bump board, 20.5 inches long. I stuck it on the scale. I had to throw back a 5.5-pound smallmouth.
Yep. A football.
Went on down. I know it made me sick. I spent like 10 minutes trying to make that fish stretch, and I could not get her to touch. And at the time, I did not know what I was going to catch the rest of the day or what, but I committed the rest of the day till 4 o'clock with a Carolina rig in my hand. I went through a pack and a half of green pumpkin, blue brush hogs. I went through a pack and a half and ended up catching 4 keepers that weighed 11.2. Weighed them in. I finished 6th. Come to find out, if that smallmouth was a 1/2 inch bigger, if she would have touched 21, I would have won that event and got big fish. I would have walked away with probably right at $2,300 that Saturday.
And you missed 5th by 2 ounces. I remember you telling me that.
And I missed my second hardware by 2 ounces. The guy that finished 5th had 11.4, and I had 11.2 with 4 fish.
Yep.
It's sickening to know that you can catch that kind of quality fish, and you have to throw it back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a fish catch I'll never forget. That's a smallmouth of a lifetime for me.
Come on,
I'll probably never catch another smallmouth that big unless I go back to Dale Hollow.
Oh, yeah.
No, don't go there. Don't go there. Come to New York.
New York's got some tanks.
I mean, it's definitely a fish of a lifetime for sure. I kind of wish I had cut some braid off and measured the girth of it to get a replica amount of it. But at that time in the tournament, I was my boater's like, man, he's never seen a co-angler so shook up as me. It literally took me probably about 35 minutes before I made my next cast. I mean, I was that shaken so bad because that was a fish of a lifetime. I mean, I can't catch fish down here, smallmouth down here in Georgia that big, unless I go to like Chattooga or somewhere like that, or Lake Burton. But those are all North Georgia lakes, and it's just one of them things that, it's fishing. I mean, yes, slot limit sucks on Dale Hollow, don't get me wrong, but it's still fun to catch quality size fish like that and know that they're that healthy there.
Oh yeah. Now there's some big smallies on Cumberland still now.
Yeah, at least they can be 18. I feel like I can catch 18-inch smallmouth there.
Oh yeah, they're there.
Rusty Odom says Michigan has them that big and bigger.
That is very true. Rusty has sent me pictures before. Me and Rusty's are good buddies, and he sent me pictures of some giant smallmouth up there in Michigan, and he's been trying to get me to go up there this May, but I don't know. I kind of promised my boater link on Sunday that if I could have checked between now and Center Hill that I would link with him. I told him, I said, look, because he asked me if I was fishing the Center Hill BFL in the Music City. I said, well, let me see what day it is. He told me. I said, I'm off that weekend. I said, if I cut a check between now and Center Hill, which I had 4 BFLs in between then, I said, I'll link with you. Well, Lord and behold, you know, I was blessed with a great weekend and cut 2 checks, Saturday and Sunday. And, you know, I told him Sunday, I said, I'm a man of my word. I'm going to hold it up. And, you know, I'll link with you for Center Hill. So.
And Center Hill's a great lake. I fished it for the first time last year. It's a fun little lake.
That's what I've heard. They should be up shallow and you can catch them flipping. So I love the flip too. So that should be a pretty fun event too.
Oh yeah, you'll do good there.
Yeah.
The ramp's kind of weird, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And then Sunday drew out a great boater. I mean, Jake Manningham, I mean, he's a stick. He's definitely upcoming future hammer. I mean, he's just like Trey McKinney. I mean, this boy can fish. He's just turned 19 Sunday.
Wow.
I mean, great kid, just got married, just got back from his honeymoon. I mean, that boy can fish. I mean, he eats, sleeps, loves fishing. And I asked him, I said, look, I said, funny thing is his co-angler was the one that beat me out by 2 ounces on Saturday for 5th.
Oh,
so
hey.
we were right there together. So I knew we were going to be around fish. And I asked him, I said, look, I said, we're going to be scoping or shallow? He said, we'll be scoping, but you'll be close enough to the bank where you can get a cast with it, you know, within the bank. I'm like, deal. I said, I'm cool with that. So I committed with that Carolina rig in my hand all day. Ended up catching 3 behind him for 5.8. He ended up catching 17.2 and missed the check by 1 ounce on the boater side, and he needed 17.3 to cut a check. So, I mean, Jake is definitely a good hammer. I mean, he's a great kid. I definitely enjoyed being in the boat with him. Had 2 great boaters this weekend. Truly blessed with that. But, I mean, definitely wasn't expecting. I knew with the weather change that there was going to be a lot more scopers, and I knew the co-angler weight would kind of fluctuate, but I wasn't expecting 5.8 would do anything. But I knew it would be setting me halfway decent. I just didn't think 5.8 was going to get me a check, but ended up finishing 19th, cutting a check on Sunday. So bad thing is, kind of wish I was fishing a full Music City division because I'm sitting 19th in points. But I also made the jump from 50th to 30th in points for the Music City division. So as long as I can catch fish the next 3 events out of the Mountain Division, I think I'll be going to Pickwick. So Lord hoping I'll be at Pickwick.
Hopefully I'll be there with you, man. Hopefully that's my goal too. I never fished Pickwick before. Heard a lot about it.
So fun.
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot about it. So yeah, fun times.
I had an intimate almost like you as far as that, you know. I was fishing on right at the Lake Toyota tournament up here. We had between 5 and 7 footers all day. I get this 5-pound smallie at the boat, and you know how you cuddle them? You know, you cuddle them and put them in. Well, I had them cuddled. I was bringing them in, and he slid out of my hand.
Ooh.
And so I lost a little over 5 pounds on that coat. Yeah, I ended up weighing in 4 fish that day, and that fish cost me over $1,000.
Man.
Yep. We're talking about Music City. I fished the first 4. I was 22nd at points, and I didn't fish the super tournament, and still made 44th on it, missing the super tournament.
Well, that's the same way down here in the Bulldog. I mean, I've made regionals on 4 events. I mean, I think I missed 1 and still made it on 4. As long as you, I mean, it's just the weights in the back of the boat in any division. I mean, is if you can catch 8 to 9 pounds, I mean, you're getting a check. You know, I cut a check with 5 pounds before on Sinclair, weighing in 5 fish for like almost 6 pounds, and you still cut a check. I mean, the weights are tight on the co-angler side, so as long as the co-angler weighs in fish each event, or even missing 1, I mean, you can about 9 times out of 10 make the regional on 4 events.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's
for sure.
My incident last year, I didn't weigh a fish in on the super tournament because of a boat accident, and I mean, I still qualified for the regional.
Yeah. We all gonna make Pickwick. You dang right, Rusty.
Yeah, I'm down with you, man. I'm down with you.
Rusty's a hammer down here my way. I mean, that boy, he can catch him on Hartwell. I invited him up to Lanier one weekend, and I got showed up. and I live closer than he does to Hartwell, and he showed me up on Lanier. That kind of hurt me a little bit, but I'll get him back.
Oh yeah, he hits some side pots quite a bit too. I give him credit. He's a side pot hammer. I give him credit.
That he is for sure, 100%.
Yep. Absolutely.
I just got a notice on my phone that's saying that I'm about to go live on Facebook.
Gotta love Facebook.
But no, what's a dream lake? A lake you'd like to fish that you have not fished yet?
Man, after this weekend, Dale Hollow is about my favorite lake right now. But as far as a dream lake, I've got an invite from Jeff Gustafson, the Elite Series Pro, to come up to Lake of the Woods with him. And me and Gussie talk all the time, and we're really close. He texts me before every tournament, wishing me good luck, and I'm the same way with him. I do the same for him. And he told me anytime I want to come up, we just got to get our schedule to meet together in the right area where we can all go up and fish Lake of the Woods, because he guides up there. So he's around 3 and 4 pound smallmouths. And, if you can catch 15, 20, 25 of those a day, that's a blast. But really, Lake of the Woods is probably the one lake I would love to go to right now. Fork's another one. I got a couple buddies of mine that live down close to Fork. Thought about getting a wire hair up my butt and fishing the Cowboy Division one time, but just got to see how the schedule plays out, and as far as work relate wise, and see if I can get off that kind of time for that.
Yeah, makes it tough.
But Lanier is also on my high list too. If you want to catch some big spotted bass, some mean spotted bass too, Lanier's the place to go.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not real familiar with a lot of stuff down south. I think the furthest south I've been was I think Potomac. I fished a couple times. I fished James River. I fished one small lake in Florida, but that didn't count. Once I saw that gator, we were off the other side of the lake. Oh, Barking Ogres is back.
He's in the house.
Yeah. We're in trouble now.
Yep. Now, talking about your favorite lake, now what is your least favorite or one you don't want to go back to?
Lake Eufaula.
Really?
There's no hesitation on that. I will not. Lake Eufaula has a love-hate relationship with me. I can catch them there in practice. I figured out before BFL one year, went down there 2.5 days. I went through probably 3 or 4 packs of black horny toads during the mayfly hatch and caught the dog snot out of them. I mean, it was cast after cast. They were eating the black horny toad pretty good, and ended up drawing a guy out, and he ran all the way up Kawiki Creek where all I could do was flip.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, they're not up here. He's like, oh, man, me and my co-angler had 15 pounds in less than an hour up here last year. I'm like, that's last year, not this year. I said, mayfly hatches on the main lake. I said, they're out there. And that was before they sprayed Eufaula and killed everything.
Yeah.
And we probably wasted 2.5 hours of the morning up there, and he only come out with one fish. So we pulled up into a pocket, and my practice partner that I was practicing with was on the other side of the cove. Pulled up in there, picked up my horny toad, fired it up there on the bank, and as soon as it hit the water, I had a giant shark to it, and she completely missed it. And he's already got a limit in the boat for like 12.5 pounds. Halfway decent limit, but nothing for you following, during the mayfly hatch. And he looks at me, goes, well, I see what I got to do the rest of the day, and pulls me away from it and goes back to punching. And I kid you not, I caught one fish that day. The second bite I had, I dropped my shake head down beside the mat, stuck my hand in the pocket, got bit, set the hook straight up, and boat flipped it without touching my reel.
Dang.
That's how close I was to the highest match from it. And I got tired of it, and I made a bomb cast with a 1.5 ounce flipping weight and a creature bug on the back, and I had one thump it, set the hook. I said, get the net, it's a giant. I never saw the fish until the last second, and he was like, oh, never mind, it's a mudfish, and puts the net down. For me, I've never seen a mudfish. I don't know what a dogfish, mudfish, whatever y'all want to call it, looks like. Yeah. So I was kind of curious. Well, he never netted it. And I'm like, I kind of want to see what it looks like. And it finally just spit it at the boat. And I'm like, that's kind of low down if you ask me. I mean, even if he just left it in the net and I could have just unclipped it in the boat or, in the water and just dumped him out of the net, I kind of wanted to see it because it was big.
Right.
Yep.
But that was the only time I've left my boater sitting in the water.
Yep.
I told him I had to get back to Georgia. My grandma wasn't doing good. I was leaving.
Yep.
And it's just, that was the worst experience with a boater I've ever had. And I do not want to go back to Lake Eufaula unless it's early spring where I know I can catch them really well.
Yeah, last fall was rough. No grass. I was like expecting grass is nothing. I think I caught my fish 15 foot or something. It's weird.
They sprayed that lake, and when they did that, they killed it. I mean, It's basically it's an offshore lake now. I mean, granted, you can still catch them up shallow on banks, but when you come out of Lake Point years ago, before they sprayed it, that whole left side was nothing but pads.
Wow.
And now it's just, you can run straight, and there's nothing. I mean, before you couldn't even run through there because it was so thick with lily pads, and now it's just wide open water. I mean, there's no grass there no more. And it's really spraying grass lake is really hurting the fish for sure. Cause that, it's taken away from the cover for the fish, if they're just strictly grass fish. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Rusty said regional was tough there this past year. Yeah, Rusty, I zeroed day one and pulled out a decent one and a small one. And I never forget, because I was coming through Atlanta, you called me and said, congrats. I'm like, for what? You said one side pot. I was like shocked because I was like 77th. But got lucky that day, man. Got real lucky.
So,
but I deserve it because my boater I had day two. We was like, his boat was leaking and then his bilge quit and we was like bailing the boat out every time we stopped. So I did have to work for it. Yeah, it was something else.
Boy, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was.
I kind of regret not putting in for the side pot at Del Hollow Saturday.
Yep.
Still kicking myself for that one, but
yeah,
it is what it is, I reckon.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is.
You can only take so much of Rob's money a week,
I mean, at least I got a little bit of it Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, you did.
But
you did.
I did feel bad for Rob because, service down there at Star Point sucks. And I don't know if he texted me early that day and I didn't have service or what, but I got the text and I was sitting in the chair to, weigh in. And I'm like, Rob's like, did you make it in? I'm like, yeah. He was like, we're broke down. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, it was like 20 minutes before check-in. We broke down 20 minutes before check-in. We was doomed. Nobody could have got his fish. And Guy either could have won it with the bag he had or come a close second.
It took 22. Christian Nash won it. He fishes the MPFL, and he was due for a win. He's had a bunch of seconds and thirds, and he was definitely due for a win. He caught him good the first event there in early March. And Christian's a hammer. And when Rob texted me, he said he's got close to 23 pounds. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's going to hurt.
Yeah, he did. He's like, but he was friends with Christian. He's like, hey, if I didn't win, I'm glad Christian won it. So he was cool. He was like, hey, it happens.
Yeah.
And he's won there before. So he'll come back. He'll come back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it happens.
I've been there as well. I was fishing a club championship tournament. And as a co-angler, you have to get a boater that let you use his boat. And so I did. And, fishing the heavy winds and stuff like that. And before spot lock. And I ran out of juice. I'm like, oh, man. So I called my buddy up. So I said, hey, I got about 19 pounds. Can you come tow me in? He comes, tows me in. I had a little over 19. I had almost 20. I was leading the tournament after day one. So, yeah, that's, I got thankful that I had a friend that would do that.
Yeah, it's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking. Something like that happens. It puts you on edge.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. I can't believe we're so far into this already.
I know, 40 minutes in. Rob said that time will fly when you're doing this.
It does. Hey, man, it does. It's unreal. But it does. But What have you ever had you ever been broke down with a boat or anywhere like that, or you been pretty lucky?
So Rob, so I've been broke down more times on Lanier with that boat batteries than anything. The first time I got broke down at Lanier was in a February event to start the year off at Lanier, and I had a 4.2 spot, giant spot for February at Lanier. And that was the only fish I had, and that was when I started getting sponsorships and everything like that. And I was like, I'm gonna walk across that stage regardless of me being late or not, because I got folks watching. You know, they look at that kind of things because, granted, you're late or not, you're still showing them off, and it makes them look good. So
definitely.
I ended up walking across that stage with that fish. It was 4.2, would have got big fish and Wally X contingency, but I've been broke down on Lanier, and then Rob told me about the little WeGo jump boxes.
Yep.
That night I went and got one. And that is the best, Rob, 68, 69, 70 bucks I've ever spent. Those little boxes are amazing. That thing goes for me every tournament. You know, I finally got boaters that's got, you know, the one Sunday he had a jump box and, you know, jumper cables as well. So, I mean, it's those little WeGo's battery packs or any jump box really is a co-angler's best friend for sure, especially in the wintertime.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially we got a live scoper. Like I said, mine, I've dropped it and it's messed up, so it cost me. I wish I had mine, and usually I do. So I gotta get another one and get it going.
Yeah. Barking Ruber says can't deal with the BS, can't get along, can't be in the same boat. 40 feet or less just ain't enough room for the two of us.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. Be nice, guys. Be nice. I know that's not directed towards me.
Oh, it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, it's funny. I got a text or email from BF or Major League Fishing. They're already doing the fantasy fishing for Dale, which that's gonna be pretty interesting. How the pros do the smallmouth limits up there.
There's going to be a lot of big fish caught. I know it sucks that if it's 2 pounds or more, they can, you know, weigh them and score them, but it's going to take a lot of weight to win that.
And Matt Becker winning that first BFL.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be a favorite.
The first March one. So, I'm curious to see what Becker does. I mean, he's a hammer for up there for sure. So Becker would be one to watch out for.
Yeah, I wish when they came up here they'd do a 3-pound limit.
Yeah.
that make it a little more interesting. 3 pounds up here.
Yeah,
I'd say 4 pounds because you can catch a 4-pound spot pretty quick, or a 4-pound smallmouth pretty quick there. I mean, I think kind of up the weight because just about every fish you catch there at Del Hollow, especially smallmouth, is going to be pushing 2 pounds. I had one on Saturday and it was 14 inches, barely touching 14 inches, and it was £1.57. At 14 inches, that's almost a 2-pound fish at 14. I'm like, that's a butterball for a 14-inch fish.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's going to take some crazy, stupid weights for the BPT tour at Del Hollow. Was it April 9th?
Yeah, it's mid-April.
The week of Cumberland.
Yeah, I believe so.
Rob, your buddy says, hey, Robert, you know the best part about jump boxes? You can drop a spare battery and take a little heavier girl with you and still get home.
Yeah, if you got the right boat like you got, yeah, you probably could. He's got a big old gator track, huge gator track, so he's got plenty of room.
Yeah.
He's Keith Poche in it, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh, he can teach Keith Poche something. I've seen stuff he goes through.
Is he jumping berms on Toledo?
No, he just runs over logs and jumps logs all the time and no issues.
I remember a couple years ago I was fishing a BSS Open on James River. I think it was the first time he brought the gator tracks out, and people were like, "What the heck is going on? That guy's got that boat." I think he ended up winning the tournament.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, the boat doesn't matter if you can't catch him.
Yeah, because he had his little 16-foot at the Bass Open on Douglas, and he made the day 3 cut, top 10 cut, and he had his little 16-foot homemade boat he customized, and he made it in that. that little thing. So
That's crazy.
yep.
Yeah. Well, we talked to had Matty Wong on here a couple months ago. He qualified with the elites with a what?
An old Ranger. It was
Old Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah. With barely any graphs on it.
Yeah. Great guy too, man. He's a great
Well, it's
guy.
just like the college kid that was fishing the college bracket in the fish off.
Yep.
He didn't have no graphs. I mean, he was just old schooling it, seats ripped, carpets ripped, and he ended up winning the college bracket and getting the berth into the classic.
Yeah.
And now he's got a new boat. I mean, the boat don't matter what it looks like. I mean, fish don't care.
No, they don't.
They don't know what equipment you're using.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a guy in the FLW in Arkansas at the time. He was in California, and he just had a Ranger shell, and he built everything up and made the FLW Cup with that boat.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
All right, so you ready for some tough questions?
Oh man,
He's got it. He's got it.
All right, what's your favorite homemade cookie?
Favorite homemade cookie? It's probably gonna have to be chocolate chip.
There you go. Right. Nothing wrong with that.
As long as you didn't say snickerdoodle, we'll give you a chance. No, the last 10, 15 minutes, we'd like to let you get a chance to talk about your sponsors and stuff like that. Give them a nice shout out and have at it, man.
It's all you, man. Floor's yours.
And guess what? You since you've been taking Rob's money, you can claim his as a sponsor too.
There you go.
I know.
Yep.
So I got a few that stuck with me through thick and thin, through the good tournaments, bad tournaments. Chris Peter Electrics has been with me since day one. He's a great guy. I mean, he's been my title sponsor for the last three or 4 years. Southern Trace Outdoors, I know the boy and his dad, they've been with me for the last 2 years. General Tires, I run General Tires, so I got General Tire contingency with them. I got a few local silent sponsors that don't want to be announced, so I kind of granted their wishes on that. CJ's Barbecue, it's a little mom and son barbecue place down here where I live. Great food. They've been with me for 2 or 3 years. AG Backbone Baits, they've stuck with me for a little while. Mixed Up Baits out of South Carolina, Randall Mixon. He pours all my baits for me. I can ask him anything he wants, and he'll send them to me. I mean, if he has trouble pouring it, he'll spend some time on it. I just try to get him to custom pour me some Kotex, some swim baits for Lanier and Blue Pearl, or Pro Blue Pearl Red. And he finally got them sipped in, and he's like, man, that's the hardest color I've had to pour. But he got them done. They look fantastic. Not Finished Fishing, Hunter Bland down in Florida. I have been with him for 2 or 3 years now. Great kid, very hardworking. He was in that boating accident at that college event where the steering cable broke on his boat running down the lake, and it shot him and his partner out of the boat down there in Florida. Luckily, it snatched both of them across. He went all the way across on the passenger side, and his head almost hit the hull of the boat. I mean, it come very close from him getting knocked out. But luckily, he's fine. BFE Fishing Rods, there in Asbury. He makes all my rods for me. They're tip-top shape. They perform well, and I definitely wouldn't trade them rods for the world. They stand up as much hard work as I put on them rods. I have no complaints on them. K9 Fishing, I just got on with them a couple months ago in Alabama. They're new, and they will be on my jersey next year. And 5x3, Jeremy Graham and Mark Strickland up here in Appleton, Georgia. They're a great apparel company. They hopped on board with me this year, and they're really great guys to work with. I'm getting hats made from them, so I'm waiting to get them. I actually got to go pick 4 or 5 of them up sometime this week to give out to some folks down here that's wanted them, because the whole story with the Boat Angel deal, and I'm going to try not to get emotional on this. So a couple years ago, I've been really, really close friends with a guy and his wife that are literally family to me. And he had stage 4 COPD and emphysema. And before every tournament, he would always text me, "Hey, buddy, I'm riding right there with you." And I was running down the lake one day, and I got a cold chill. You don't get cold chills in summer tournaments. It just don't work. Come to find out, he texted my mom to tell her, says, "Hey, let Robert know I'm riding right there with him." Well, I ended up catching him pretty good at Lanier that event, and his wife had a request. And I said, "What's that?" She said, "I want you to do something for me." I said, "What's that?" She was like, "I want you to put a red heart on your sleeve." I said, "Okay." She's like, "I'll pay whatever you want for it." And she said, and I'm like, "Don't worry about it. I got it." I was like, "Well, what's the meaning behind that?" She was like, "Because you wear your heart on your sleeve." And there it is, right there.
Yep.
And so I granted her wish with that. Anything that I can do for her. And 2 years ago, before my Clarks Hill BFL in May, him and his wife was supposed to come to my weigh-in at Clarks Hill. He ended up passing away the weekend before my Clarks Hill BFL. And from then on out, on my jersey sleeve, I have Fishing for Perry. Had a jersey made for him, and he's always on oxygen, so he would sit there on the couch watching live weigh-ins on his computer screen, and he would always text me. And I had another jersey identical to mine made for him. Oh boy. And it's just one of those things that he was always there to text me, "Good job, I'm always riding right there with you," kind of deal. And it meant a lot.
Yep.
He would take the time out of his day, and especially the early mornings, to text me that. And passed away the week before my Clarks Hill BFL. We were running the first spot. It's cloudy morning, and we were running the first spot, and there's a big circle with no clouds and the sun in the middle. And I was like, "Lord," I said, "if this is meant to be, it's meant to be." Perry opened the hole up for me. I said, "I got to catch him." And pulled up to the first spot, caught 2 fish pretty quick, and went out the week before practice. I threw a flutter spoon, hit multiple bridges, and caught fish off of each bridge, multiple limits off of each bridge pylon. And went under the bridge, fished out one island in the back of a creek, caught 2 keepers. And I looked at my boater. I said, "Look," I said, "you care if we stop on this bridge?" He's like, "No." He's like, "What do you catch them on?" I said, "Flutter spoon." He said, "I don't have any." I said, "I got you covered." We sat there for 35 minutes welling on them, and it was definitely meant to be, for sure.
Yep.
And I ended up finishing 22nd that event, and was definitely wish he was there for sure. But his wife Diane was, and I was greatly appreciated for that.
Yep.
Oh, I told y'all.
It's all right, man.
Hey,
But from then on out, on my jerseys, from then on out, I still rock Fishing for Perry. Always will, and forever I fish BFLs, or even if I step up to the Toyotas or even Bass Opens. This year, or even last year, the guy Steve at E3 Sports put a halo above Perry's P on his name. And then, because he's my boat angel. And my stepsister and brother-in-law, and I don't know if y'all seen those Eternal Life bracelets that you can put a picture inside of the bracelet and hold it up to the light. They took the picture off his obituary and stuck it in that bracelet and gave it to me for Christmas. And that kind of hit. So from the only time it comes off is either A, I'm in the shower, or B, I'm at work. But if I'm on the water or not at work or in the shower, that bracelet never comes off. Okay. But that is, the support I have here, even as a co-angler, is very touching. My mom and dad, they've never missed a BFL since I started fishing in 2016. They even drove out to Missouri in 2020 when I was leading day one of the wild card, and they drove out to Missouri to watch me weigh in. And watch me. Nah, I know this hurts too, but I missed my shot at the All-American by 6 ounces on day 2.
Yeah.
Finished 7th, and that was the event where I stepped off my buddy's boat trailer after day 1 of the weigh-in and tore my ACL.
Oh.
So I had to fish a whole nother day to try and hold my lead because I couldn't back out because the weights were so tight. I was like, I got to fish.
Yep.
And fished whole day 2 with a torn ACL. About lunchtime, it got to me. I was like, it's killing me. I mean, you have heat, fluid, knees swollen, no brace, and you're just like, it's there, and it got in my head big time. And I weighed in 1 2-pound fish on day 2, and if I would have had one more keeper fish, I would have made the All-American in 2020.
Yeah.
But the support I got from my sponsors and my parents is 10 to none for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge, man. Definitely huge. That's huge.
So, I think Diane's watching. Hi, I love you. It's definitely very touching for sure.
And
Rusty, I appreciate that, buddy.
Definitely top notch. Does everything and anything and everything for anybody. He called and checked on me and my brother when his brother-in-law passed. Robert's family. Yep.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Yeah, we all have special people, and definitely some touching moments and things like that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was going to make a joke about something, but after that story, I can't. So.
I told Rob, I was like, man, I don't know if I should even bring that up, but I was like, man.
No. That's great to share, man. That's great to share, man. That's a great story. Great story. Hey, I do got a quick question. I don't even know this. How did you get the nickname Rock? I'm curious.
So the whole meaning behind Rock Steady Nation is my buddy Jay Stryker gave me that nickname Rock Steady because I've been steadily chugging along at it. I've hit some rock spots, I've bounced back, and he's like, look, he said, I'm going to name you Rock Steady. So I just went with it. I got decals made. I got decal of Rock Steady Nation on the back of my truck. I started my LLC business, and it's called Rock Steady Nation. It's not the normal rock. It's ROC. So it's kind of off the wall kind of deal, but Rock Steady has stuck with me for 2 or 3 years now, and it's just Rob, every time he answers, I call him, he goes, what's up, Rock? It's always there.
It fits you, man. It fits you. It's perfect. It fits you.
Well, I appreciate it. So I'm in the process of trying to get some more hats made. I had a few made, but me and Dad's got the first hats I've ever had with RSN Nation or RSN with my 2 hook logo. So I'm probably going to get some more hats made so I can give out to little kids that weigh in and stuff like that.
Cool.
And, I had some shirts made and kind of bit me a little bit because I kind of underpriced it a little bit, but I know for next time. Yeah. But I'll probably get some more hats made where I can have in my truck and give out to kids that weigh in for sure.
There you go.
All right.
And same with the 5x3 hats. 5x3s is well known, around the Southeast kind of deal. But, fishing out of state, I kind of want to branch out a little bit. So, me and Jeremy's going to come up with some ideas and get, a sleeve or 2 hats made and, hand them out at kids that weigh in as well for sure.
Definitely.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
Now that Rob took it a little bit more relaxing, I will ask this question. About your sponsors and stuff like that. I know you and I talked earlier about K9 and stuff like that, but you never mentioned Cajun Rob.
Well, hey, yeah.
hey, as much as I've gave him this season, at least he's got to mention my name when he gets on the stage.
Yeah, I know. Well, Cajun Rob too. I mean, he helped pay for my Center Hill one, so.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, it makes me feel. That makes me feel better.
Sorry about that.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
Diane says she loves
we have a blast. Me and Rob, we cut up, but when it gets down to serious tournament time, I mean, we may be friends outside the water, but when we step foot in that boat, we're competitors. I mean, we're still great friends, but when we step foot in that boat, it's one-on-one. I mean, it's a friendly competition for sure.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a lot of fun, and We always have a good time, man. I enjoy it, man. It's great.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you're traveling with us this year for sure.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, man.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it's good times. The Toyota we did at Dale was a blast, man. That was a real good time. That was fun.
Yeah, that was another hurtful tournament. I mean, I lost a fish on an A rig on day 2. That would have cut me a check on that one. I had an A rig, had a giant fish. I don't know if it was largemouth, smallmouth, or what, but it straightened the hook on an A rig and pulled loose about the last 30 minutes of the tournament. And I had 1 2-pounder on day 1 and weighed in 3 or 4 fish on day 2. And that one fish I jumped from the ones I weighed in on day 2 from 177th to 77th in the point standings on that at the end of day 2. And if I would have had that one good one that pulled off, I might have squeaked inside probably top 45, anywhere between top 40, top 50. I think I would have got paid with that fish for sure. Cause I think, they pay 70 places, Rob?
Yeah, usually, yeah, 60 to 70. Depends how many boats. But yeah, you definitely
sure with that one fish.
Oh, yeah. Definitely, man. No doubt.
Yeah, Robert, I've been talking about.
I had some great boaters this year. Lee Snyder, I drew him first year at Dale Hollow this year. Absolutely hammer. I mean, the boy can fish. I mean, he's a Dale Hollow hammer. I mean, ended up, he probably caught 16.5 pounds within like the first 45 minutes of the tournament. And I had to net every single one of them. And it got to 16.5, 17 pounds. And then at the end of the day, it was 21.5 pounds. And he's chunking back 3-pounders. I'm like, God, I wish them 3-pounders were on my side. But,
yep. Oh, yeah.
Lee had a great event. I think he finished 5th or 6th that event. And then he had a great weekend this past weekend. I mean, he had another 20-plus pound bag this weekend.
Wow.
I think he ended up with like high 21s or right at 22 pounds. I mean, the boy can fish. I mean, he's a hammer for sure. I mean, Lee's a great guy.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
But I drew some great boaters this year to start the year off, and I'm truly blessed with that.
Rob and I have been talking about doing a tournament next year, like a Toyota or an Open or something like that. Try to get together, get a couple guys together, share a house, and do something like that. Maybe.
Oh, it's a blast. It's a blast. I guarantee you.
Oh, yeah. Toyotas are fun for sure.
Yeah. Me living in New York, I don't get much chance to take Rob's money, so I'd like to try
that. Ooh, lay down the gauntlet.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, I appreciate you coming on.
Oh man, I had a blast. It was great talking with you guys, and I was truly blessed. I was thank God. Rob asked me Friday or Saturday if I wanted to move my date up a little bit. I said, sure, why not? Not knowing I was going to have the tournament I was going to have this weekend. I was like, well, at least I had something good to talk about for this one, and not hoping, praying that I was going to catch him at Cumberland that following weekend.
No, it worked out perfect, man. I mean, it worked out like a plan, man. We appreciate you coming on and stepping up. And I said, I'll see you at Cumberland, and you'll bring it at Cumberland. We'll have a good time at Cumberland.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm excited to get back on Cumberland. That's where me and Dad started. Basically my tournament career was on Cumberland, fishing little team work tournaments with Dad when he used to work at Novellis and Berea. They had weekend tournaments there, and Harrington for sure. And that's where, my blood started kicking in, was right there. I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. I was like, I'm going to pursue it. And
there you
go.
I
feel like Cumberland's probably going to be my strong event, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, you will, man. You'll do good there. I guarantee you.
I appreciate that, Rob.
All right, man.
All right, Mr. Well, we're going to end this here in a second here. We'll throw you back the green screen. If you got stuff to do, go ahead and take care of it. If not, we'll chat a little while afterwards and go on from there and continue the success on this year.
Well, I appreciate it, John. It means a lot to me.
Keep on rocking, Rock. You got it, brother.
Appreciate it, Rob. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Talk to you in a minute.
All right, see you.
All right, see you.
All right. Wow.
That's those great stories, man. Some stories I didn't know. I kind of knew, but like I said, how you got his nickname and all, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I like to hear things like that. And I just want to give a shout out to a friend of mine, He's a rookie on the Elite Series. I fished with him up on Oneida Lake during a BASS Open. He actually was one of my first guests on a podcast a couple years ago when my wife and I had it, Kyle Patrick.
Yep.
He had a good tournament on the, as he called it, the small club tournament, the Bassmaster Classic. So he finished in the top on it. I believe he finished 7th in that event. And I just want to say congratulations to him, Kevin McGibney, one of his partners with K&K Customs, who's going to be on our show here in next month, I believe.
Yep.
Just wanted to give him a shout out, say congratulations and keep up the good work.
Great finish. Great job, brother. Good job.
All right. So we'll get here and do the outro and go from there. Sound good to you?
Sounds good. Thanks for everybody tuning in, and please like and share, and we appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Yep.
Peace out.
And join us tomorrow.
Yep. We'll be here.